And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, and I tell you one thing, folks, we have been through 13 weeks of this season. Now we in week 14. We've bought you a lot of games, and now we are in. Excuse me. Sorry about
Yeah.
that. Sorry about that. But regardless of the fact, man, we have done a lot for the Hash It Out Show. We thank everybody for their support of this broadcast, of this platform, and everything. And now we're in the season finale, the state semifinals. Somebody is going in the Superdome, and this battle has been going on since 1993, and now maybe the biggest one ever. John Curtis, St. Augustine, once and for all for the state semifinals, a trip to the dome on the line. We're here with assistant coach of John Curtis. We were supposed to have JT, but he has a lot going on. But Jeff Curtis steps to the plate here. How you doing, Coach?
Doing good, VK. Appreciate you having us on.
Absolutely, man. A lot going on. You can say, especially with these two teams here, no love lost. Has been a great battle between these two. And last week you had to come up with a big victory. John Curtis getting it done on the road again at Turlings Catholic. What you can say about last week with the performance and how you guys really stepped in and got it done.
Defense played outstanding last week against a really, really good quarterback, a really good offense that was averaging over 40 points a game. Really good runner. Quarterback could run it and throw it, and our defense played fantastic. Got 4 takeaways, 3 interceptions, and a fumble recovery. That was really the difference in the game. We had a couple of turnovers as well. Fortunately, none of them cost us the game. We had one that led to a touchdown with about a minute left when we were up 21-0. But fortunately, man, the defense stepped up and had a huge game on the road against Turlings Catholic, against a really good offense. And Turlings Catholic really came to play on defense last week and had a good game plan against us and played well.
Very much so. I mean, your team really was just laser focused and everything, and it's kind of funny that the day before the Hash It Out show was broadcasting the Hanville Invitational, and we had John Curtis on for 1 hour games, and we see your dad in the stands, and we shook his hand, and it seemed like the look on his face was a focused man, and he was like, "We're ready to get it going," and you guys just was like, "Hey, we're gonna get this done," and you guys did. And how much, how much it is for you guys to make it back again to the state semifinals.
Yeah, last year I think it was an unexpected run, if you will, based upon the regular season that we had. We had a couple of, quote unquote upsets in the playoffs. And, I think it was an unexpected run. This year, starting out 7-0, I think a lot of guys looked like maybe we were back. And then we had 2 really tough games against 2 really tough opponents, obviously Edna Carr and St. Augustine. And, close the regular season with 2 losses. And then, you get St. Thomas More at home, who's a traditional power looking to go deep in the playoffs, traditionally go deep in the playoffs, and played really well against them. And then going on the road and playing Turlings Catholic and kind of a revenge game for them last year, because we kind of took it to them last year, and they played really well. And we were fortunate enough to win. And man, here we are again against another really, really tough opponent. St. Augustine is loaded with talent. Scored 55 points on us, VK, which was the most points we've ever given up since 1969 in Coach JT's first year. And they were all earned too. There wasn't anything cheap about them. And we're gonna have our hands full, but we're excited about the opportunity. All you can ask for in life is a chance sometimes, and we feel like we have a chance. And it's going to be a really formidable, tough opponent, but we'll see what happens.
Let's talk about your players. Your players that's been really leading the way. Give me 2 to 3 offensively and defensively that has been doing it all. The good thing about John Curtis over the years, you might have 1 or 2 standouts, but at the same time, it's team based.
Yep.
because that one guy might not have the great day. He might have an okay day, but you or JT be like, man, this guy did this guy did that. And it's hard to
Right.
pick a best player. Give me 2 to 3 offensive and defensively that leads the way for the Patriots.
Yeah. Well, Jacoby Boudreaux obviously was kind of the guy coming into the season who we're really going to rely on, and he's had a great year for us. To date, I think the question mark coming into the season was our quarterback situation with London Paget being a sophomore. He's done a fantastic job of learning the system, and executing the offense and being able to play at the high level, as a sophomore. And I really like our receiving core with Paul Dufresne and DJ Horton. Both of them have played really, really well and come away with some big catches for us in those games. So I would say on offense, London and our receiving core with, obviously Jacoby. And it's hard not to mention our offensive line has done a really good job of staying together and playing well. Defensively, Jeffrey Curtis leads the way as our leading tackler. That was our leading tackler last year. And he's kind of the guy in the middle that controls everything. But the two edge guys, Ben Barron and Lane Lacron, are really playing well. And then, it's tough to single out one guy in the secondary because all of them have played really well. Prentice Macion, Joel's Tap, Craig Connor, Jaden Keelan, Jaden Turner. I mean, all those guys have played really well in the secondary. And it seems like it's kind of a different guy every game, which is a good thing. Prentice has had a good game. And the next game, Joel will have a good game. And then Jaden will have a good game. And Jaden Turner will have a good game. Craig will have a good game. So they've all had good games. Hopefully we can put it together on Friday night to be able to contain this explosive St. Augustine offense.
Now, Curtis, the guy who's the leading tackler, he's a very familiar name in itself, and I believe that's family, right?
Yeah, that's my son. That's my son. And everybody, teases me, man, you are a quarterback. How'd you get a linebacker for, son? I said, he takes after his mama, aggressive and likes to hit. And yeah, it's been awesome to be able to watch him develop and grow as a player and as a person in our program. But quite honestly, I don't get to see him a whole lot. In practice, we're trying to game plan to beat him, offense versus defense. And then, after the game, I'll say, how'd you play? I don't get a chance to watch much defense. So, yeah, he's played really well for us, and I'm proud of how well he's played for us defensively.
How much of a joy it is that it was a couple of years ago there was another Curtis, and I believe that's your brother's son who
Correct.
played and everything. How it is that is a joy that they play under the Curtis mantra, but not just that for family. You played under your dad, your
Right.
brothers played under your dad. Now the grandkids play under grandpa.
Yeah.
What are thoughts of that more than anything else that they're playing not just for the symbol but for family?
Right. Yeah, it's really cool to reminisce and go back and look at some of those old pictures when they were on the sideline and being little water boys and ball boys and growing up and then putting the pads on for the first time and then having an opportunity to get out there and compete and contribute as a player to the team. And then ultimately, gaining a starting position and taking on that leadership role and then watching that process develop over time and the men that they're turning into. It's the motto, building champions for life. And that's regardless of whether you win a championship on the field or not. It's developing that championship mindset of how to become, not just a champion on the field, but a champion off the field as well. And yeah, Jay Curtis was my nephew, my oldest nephew, who got an opportunity to play, went on to play 5 years of college baseball at the University of Dayton, got an opportunity to coach collegiately at Dayton, decided ultimately to come back home and join the coaching staff and teach here. Jason Curtis, who graduated last year, my youngest nephew, just finished last year, and he's a student assistant at LSU. You can see him. I mean, he gets a lot of screen time in those ESPN games. He is in his light blue shirt, and he's calling the signals, and he's got the headsets on, and he's really thriving up there in Baton Rouge and doing really well for himself, being able to absorb that college knowledge because, his goal and aspiration is to one day be a coach as well. So really proud of him and the way that he's developed and taken that on. And then now here comes Jeffrey as a senior, being able to kind of step into that leadership role. And Just again, cool to have the opportunity to watch him develop and grow as a young man, as a player.
Wow. I tell you one thing, it's something else when you have a family full of football players, but a family full of coaches.
Yeah.
Which one is not going to be the coach? I don't just saying.
Well, Johnny's middle boy, Michael, came to him when he was in the 8th grade and said, "Dad, I don't think football is going to be for me." And Johnny said, "Yeah, I'm fine with that, Michael." He said, "I still want to play baseball, and maybe in the off season, I'd like to play tennis and so on and so forth." And Michael went to Northeastern University in Boston and just finished last year, and is in a building next to I don't know, I think they call it the Hancock Tower in Chicago, and he's working for the name of the company that he works for slips me, but he's working for a Fortune 500 company right now. So he's not the coach, but I tell you what, he's done really good for himself, and his future is so bright in the business world that he's in. So yeah, he's not the coach, but I tell you, he's going to be a highly successful person.
Very much agree. That's awesome. That's awesome to hear that. It's almost a similar story, but a great football player in the past that we had on our show. And now he's working for Fortune 500. We thought he would make it in college. Some things went the other way, but he's successful in life, and that's Keaton Thompson. And that
Yeah,
is an
absolutely.
unbelievable story with
What a
him
great
because
story. Yeah.
wow,
What a great story.
but
Yeah, it's not always about at the end of the day, football is going to end. Where is it going to end? We don't know. It could end in high school because you have an injury. It could end because you're not, maybe not just quite good enough to play in college. Maybe you do get in college and you're not quite good enough to continue that career through an injury, or through maybe you're just not good enough, or it's going to end in college after a year, or you go to the pros, right? And it's going to end at some point. But how are you going to develop along the way and absorbing all that knowledge to give you an opportunity to be successful in life? And the football field teaches you so many lessons if you take advantage of it. And Keaton is just an example of that. All the adversity that he faced, not just in high school, but in college, and now, being able to apply that knowledge to his life. Those are the success stories that we really need to talk about.
Absolutely, man. And he's a product, and I think me and you are products of it as well. You know what I'm saying? Because we really, as people played on the field, but then on top of that, we just did what we had to do to just be successful in life. And that's what it sets
Absolutely.
up to be. Looking
Absolutely.
at looking at this week's game, man, JT Curtis, and I always say this, he thrives in moments like this when he has a second chance against a team. How it's been this week with preparation, and then on top of that, what when they at the end of the game and he seen the St. Aug score, what was his reaction?
Well, quite honestly, in our meeting on Thursday, before the St. Aug game, and this is pretty much what he says during, the whole process during the regular season. You know, um, we're going to go and we're going to prepare and we're going to play as hard as we're going to play. But at the end of the day, we're going to come back on Saturday and we're going to figure out what our mistakes were, and we're going to try to correct them. And what's in the past is in the past, and we're going to look to move forward. And that was really the approach. That game didn't end and didn't play out how we would have liked it to play. But fortunately, we had a good enough season where we got another opportunity to compete in the playoffs. And at that time, we didn't know whether we'd have a bye or whether we'd have to play with our power rankings, whether it would slip down low enough. So really, we just kind of went to work thinking about how we can get better for the playoffs and see if we can put this thing together and make a run. Um, certainly the outcome wasn't what we wanted it to be, and and we weren't happy with the outcome, but we knew we had another opportunity. What that opportunity was going to be, we didn't know. It ultimately ended up being St. Thomas More after a bye week, and we were able to kind of put that game behind us and move forward. And then, just kind of going into this week, just finding a way to fix our mistakes. Unfortunately, that's difficult when you're playing a really talented team because they can force you into those mistakes. They can force you into those turnovers. They're one step quicker than you see in practice. one step faster than you thought that they would be. They're in positions that you don't see all the time because of that talent level, and that's what makes beating a team like St. Augustine very difficult, especially this year with Coach Valdez doing a fantastic job of seemingly putting everything together in the way that Vachon is running their offense, both as a runner and a passer, and the weapons that they have built around them. And as we all know, with how Coach Valdez likes to run the football, and they've done a really good job, albeit despite some of the injuries they've had, and they've got guys that have filled in those spots. And then Will Gilmore doing a really, really good job of preparing a game plan to stop spread teams, to stop us as he did. And then even though Acadiana put up a lot of points, ultimately to stop Acadiana when they had to at the end of the game. Acadiana put a game plan together where they're able to exploit some things in the pass game, which is not typical Acadiana. And then, of course, with a player like number 0 Gallion in the kick return game, and keep him in it with some kick returns. But at the end of the day, you're looking at 42, and they get the stops they need at the end of the game against Acadiana, which honestly teams don't do. And games like that, Acadiana is typically able to drive the ball down the field, eat that clock, score late, and advance in the games. But Will had a game plan together, and they executed their game plan. They were able to get the stops necessary against Acadiana, and then of course they played extremely well defensively last week against Rummel, against 2 really good running backs.
Well, looking at it, me and you go way back. Like we mentioned, this is meeting 20. 20 meetings in 32 years. 32 years. 32 years ago, 1993. The first meeting. You was the quarterback at the time. You was a junior. You guys handled St. Aug that day. And the key part was the fact that Sean Rhodes got injured and was out. Then all of a sudden, that was the start of the huge winning streak of the St. Augustine Purple Knights right after that loss. The next season, my first season as a player, and St. Augustine had a 19-0 lead. You guys came all the way back to get the win. And I still ain't forget that. And to this day, ladies and gentlemen, I always give this man a lot of respect because of that 4th down and goal at the 25. He broke about 3-4 tackles to get into that end zone for the game-winning touchdown. At that time, there were some great battles over the years against St. Augustine and John Curtis, despite you guys having the most amount of wins in the battles. It was still some great ball games, great moments.
Yeah, man, absolutely. I can go back, 2000, I believe, overtime game. Leonard Fournette, that game with Kenny Young and Malachi Dupree for us, and Leonard. What an epic battle on ESPN that one was. A few years ago in the playoffs, the shootout at the Shrine in a first round game. That how the PowerPoints played out shouldn't have been a first round game, but it was. And man, what a battle that was! And just through the years, this game, these games, I think it brings out the best in both programs. Two very historically tradition-rich schools with players and fans and alumni. You're going to see a lot of big plays made by both teams. You're going to see physicality from both teams. You're going to see a lot of passion from both sides. You can go back and you can talk about a lot of the epic games, and I've just been fortunate that I was able to be a part of it as a player and now as a coach. And it just and looking forward to seeing what's going to happen on Friday night.
Very much so. Last question, and we're gonna close it out. What would it mean to you guys, to if you get this win against St. Augustine and punch another ticket to the Dome? And it's just been so many trips for you guys. I can't even say the number. You guys have, let me make sure, is it okay, 27 or 28 state titles.
28 titles. Yeah, LHSAAs take one away, so you can call it 27 if you want. I guess
Nah, I'm
whatever.
gonna call it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say.
whatever.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
say it like your daddy said. We gonna count the number said.
yeah.
28. 28. That's
Yeah.
that
I don't
that's a
disagree with.
respect. That's a respect from the Hash It Out show and myself.
Right.
28, because JB actually has that T-shirt. So
There you go. There you go.
yeah,
There you go.
absolutely. So we count that.
Yeah.
But what it would mean to you guys if you get it done in a payback game potentially and punch another ticket to the dome.
Man, so many people put so much time, energy, and effort into the school and the program and the kids, and obviously it would mean a lot. And it would mean equally as much for St. Augustine, who hasn't had an opportunity to play in a state championship game in a long time. I believe 79 maybe was the last one. They've been to the semifinals a few times. So I'd be lying to say that, it just means more, like, right? The SEC slogan. Because it doesn't mean more here than it means more at St. Augustine. It doesn't mean more here and it means more at Edna Carr. Doesn't mean more here than it means at Catholic, but I'd be lying to say it wouldn't mean a lot. That's for darn sure. Because of the amount of time, energy, and effort that so many people put in to have an opportunity like this. And that's, like I said earlier, that's all you can ask for is an opportunity or a chance in life. And that's what we're going to tell our kids. This is a big opportunity for you. Fortunately, I've been there. I've had that opportunity before. Looking forward, I hope to have the opportunity in the future, God willing. But for some of these kids, this might be their only opportunity. And I think that's the importance that we want to stress to these kids and these guys. And I'm sure, St. Augustine, Carr, Catholic, and all the other schools around the state that are playing in the semifinals are saying the same thing. You're not guaranteed anything for the amount of success that we've had in the past. Sometimes you look back and sometimes you kind of take it for granted. We're not. We don't want to. Because this team is different. This team is different from last year's team. It's different from the 1975 team. It's different from all those other state championship contenders in the past. You kind of take it as a 1 year season, and this team is different. And hopefully we can have an opportunity to celebrate that win together on Friday night. But if not, we'll celebrate the season that we've had and the amount of progress that we've made and our ability to develop these champions for life.
Well, I listened to a show last week, and I think it was Under the Lights, I believe. They were saying that, or it was the Boot Breakdown this week, and it said people like JT Curtis, Louis Cook, Jeff Hightower, all these great coaches. We have to cherish the time that they have right now because they don't know. We don't know how long. Not just the fact they're going to be on this earth, but how long they're going to do this. How long
Right.
they're going to coach. Because this is year 50. I think it's 56 for your dad, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Year 56. And I told Robert Valdez, I said, you were sick. His first year was 5 years before you were born.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's a
Right.
lot. And your dad looks great. But regardless of the fact, I think we have to
Yeah.
cherish these moments because we don't know. And I'm not going to even ask that other question at all because the fact of the matter is, it's a respect of y'all guys and everything of what y'all do, man. Because
Right.
it's amazing what we see from your dad, Louis Cook, all these great legends. And I've been covering this thing. I've been in this business 20 years, covering high school for 16, 17 years. And it's amazing stuff that these programs, and it makes me look at a perception that, like, I looked at it as a fan differently. But when I looked at it as a journalist and going behind the scenes
Right.
and looking at how it makes you change your mind, it's like, wow.
Right. Yeah.
I said,
I don't think we'll
okay.
ever see. I don't think we'll ever see another one like him. Coach Hightower, Coach Cook. I don't see that happening. I mean, they kind of came in at the sweet spot of when you wanted to get into this thing, and fortunately, God had some great things in store for all three of them, and there are others, on the list. that you could talk about, but those three are still active. And I just don't see anybody in this day and age getting into it like Dad got into it at 21, 22, 23 years old, and being able to have the sustainability that those like guys like those three have had. Yes, you do have to cherish this time, and you can kind of say we're in a golden age of that, if you will, of where we are. I think high school football in the state is as good, if not better, than it's ever been, from top to bottom and from left to right when you look at it. And for them to be able to be a part of where we started, kind of, to where we are now, man, that's really cool. And I really admire, obviously, my dad, but guys like Coach Cook, Coach Hightower, Coach Carol Della Houssaye, Coach Frank Monica, and the list goes on and on and on about all those guys who kind of paved the way and put Louisiana high school football on the map nationally and where we are now.
Coming from the son of the legend, and coming from the grandson of the person who started this school itself, Jeff Curtis, man, I definitely appreciate it, man. The Hash It Out Show. Join us tonight, 7 p.m. and also Wednesday. We'll preview the playoff games coming up. Also, some top Louisiana sports as well. Tune in tonight on JB the Sports Guys YouTube page and all social medias. WGNO called this game in 1993.
Yeah. Live.
That's the
right.
Hash It Out Show will have the honor and privilege of bringing you the semifinal game live on JB the Sports Guy Friday night, 6:45 pregame, 7 o'clock will be the kickoff of this ball game. Once and for all, St. Augustine and John Curtis from Tag Army Stadium. Jeff Curtis, thank you so much. Thank you for taking out the time out to join us, man. We wish you all the best coming up Friday against St. Augustine.
Appreciate you, VK. Salute to you, man. Appreciate everything you do for high school football, not just in New Orleans, but across the state.
Appreciate you, Jeff, for the hard work you bring in, and I know you're making your family proud, and big time respect over the years of what you've been doing to give back to the school and to the community.
Thank you.